Adventures with Microsoft Word Copilot number 1. Greetings. I was contemplating writing a story about a young man who meets the one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eater when, on a whim, I tossed it to the Copilot function in Microsoft Word. I was surprised. After I read this one, I ran some other prompts by it and decided to record them. So, for your listening and dancing pleasure, the curious encounter. A young man meets the one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. A whimsical chronicle of the unimaginable. On a dusky evening when the sun slumped behind the hills and the sky wore a shroud of indigo, a young man named Elliot wandered the edge of his small town, his heart brimming with restless longing and curious anticipation. The world in that gentle twilight seemed to hum with possibility, the kind that only reveals itself to those who wander without a map, trusting in the serendipity of moonlight and the gentle whisper of wind. Elliot was a dreamer and an observer, a collector of oddities and tales. He had grown up listening to stories spun by grandparents, whose memories seemed stitched together from equal parts truth and wonder. None, however, were as vivid in his mind as the legend of the one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. A creature so strange, so spectacular, that its very name caused listeners to giggle, shiver, or both. It was said to haunt the corners of the sky no one else dared to look, feeding on whimsy, and perhaps, as the song went, on people, a detail Elliot was never sure was meant to invite terror or laughter. On this particular evening, Elliot's feet carried him along a winding ribbon of road flanked by ancient sycamores. Their leaves danced in the wind, occasionally casting monstrous shadows across his path. Crickets chattered, and the air was thick with the scent of wildflowers. There, in the velvet hush, Elliot paused. He looked up, expecting only stars, but instead he saw a flash. A streak of violet, an iridescent flare that pulsed behind a cluster of clouds. He blinked, and it was gone. Had he imagined it? He pressed onward, heart fluttering, following the echo of color that now seemed to beckon him deeper into the twilight. The ordinary world faded behind him, replaced by an electric anticipation that tingled along his skin. A sudden whoosh, like the flap of wings, impossibly large, startled him from his reverie. Above, silhouetted against the upswelling moon, a figure hovered. His mind fumbled for words. One eye, set wide and bright in the center of a bulbous head, a single spiraling horn glinted atop its brow, and vast, shimmering wings, translucent and speckled with amethyst and sapphire. The creature's body was, yes, a deep, royal purple that seemed to shimmer with every movement. Elliot stood frozen, unable to decide whether to run or to marvel. The creature circled, descending with a peculiar grace, its wings barely rustling the grass as it landed. It was both comical and majestic. Its beak curved like a trumpet, its talons delicately folded, its single eye studying Elliot with an expression that hovered between curiosity and mischief. "Hello," came a voice, rich, melodious, and somehow familiar, as if it echoed from the very stories of his childhood. "Don't be afraid. I'm not here for people. I'm here for the music." Elliot's heart stumbled. The creature's mouth curled into something like a smile. "I heard a melody," the creature continued, "a tune so lovely and odd. It called me from across the clouds. Was it yours?" Elliot realized he had been humming, absent-mindedly as he walked, a tune his grandmother used to sing. Embarrassed, yet enchanted, he nodded. It was a song from my family, he managed, his voice small but steady. I like that, replied the Purple People Eater, settling onto the earth with an air of satisfaction. I travel the skies seeking songs and stories. It's far more interesting than, well, eating people. That's just an old rumor, you see. Elliot laughed, tension unraveling from his shoulders. The creature's eyes sparkled, reflecting in the silvered light. And so began a conversation unlike any Elliot had ever known. He spoke of his town, its people and peculiarities, the old legends, and the unspoken hopes that kept him wandering. The Purple People Eater, in turn, told Elliot tales of the upper winds, of lightning storms that tasted like lemon drops, and clouds that burst into rainbows. It described the hidden cities among the cumulus, where skyfolk played instruments crafted from thunder and sang songs that only the bravest dreamers could hear. The night deepened. Stars spilled across the sky in uncounted numbers. Together they sang, the People Eater in a voice that soared and trilled, Elliot weaving harmonies beneath it. Their music wove through the trees, carrying notes of wonder through the sleeping town. As dawn crept across the horizon, painting the world in pale gold, the creature rose. I must travel on, it said, but I'll return whenever the melody calls. With a wink and a flourish of wings, it lifted into the morning air, leaving behind a single violet feather, smooth as silk, warm to the touch. Elliot waited until the last glimmer faded, heart alight with new stories. When he returned to town, pocketing the feather, he found the world unchanged, except for the secret glow that kindled inside him, a certainty that magic still fluttered at the edge of the sky for those who dared to look up and hum a tune. Reflections on the encounter. Some say Elliot's tale was just another story to be folded among the others, something to amuse children or spark a smile on a rainy day. But Elliot, now older and ever the wanderer, knows better. He keeps the feather on his mantle, a reminder that wonder has weight and texture, and that sometimes the impossible is only a song away. The preceding piece was created entirely with the Copilot AI function in Microsoft Word from a one-sentence prompt I gave it. I gave it a single sentence, and it did the rest. As we look at AI and what it can do for us, and what it may do to us, this experiment is but a small example of the potential of this powerful tool. It is a tool of great power and, like all tools, may be used for good or evil. Unlike a hammer that can sit on the shelf unused for eons, this one is not going away, and it is up to each of us to decide how we use it. Decide wisely. This is Robert Cherney. Please check out my website, Stagewalker Enterprises. Have a great day.